Hey guys, it's Wart. Welcome back to another video, and today we're talking about something you may be familiar with. It is One Piece, which is the newest series I've decided to dive into, and this is going to be somewhat of a discussion and review of the first 100 chapters known as the East Blue Saga. Now, if anyone is familiar with the One Piece story knows that diving into it is quite the undertaking. There are more than 1,000 chapters in the manga and over 1,000 episodes of the anime, which is sort of insane to put it lightly. However, after literally putting this off for years, I've decided to start the series, and after some deliberation, I decided to read the manga over watching the anime, which, before I get into any spoilers, I do highly recommend, just point blank, I highly recommend checking out the story by reading it. There's art is obviously incredible in the writing style, not just the dialogue, but the way everything is kind of constructed and formatted is really clever, and I think the author, Oda, comes through amazingly. His personality is super interesting, and you can kind of get a feel for it while reading the story. You just feel his creativity in every single page. Again, I'm sure the anime is great, and I still recommend at least giving it a try. At least try reading the manga before you watch the anime. If you realize reading manga isn't your thing, go ahead and watch the show. But again, I do recommend at least checking out the manga. Just get the first volume, see if you like it or not, then, decide from there. Now, onto the main topic of the video, we're going to talk about East Blue. East Blue is the first major saga of the series and introduces us to the core cast of characters that we're going to be taking along the entire adventure. And of course, this includes none other than the main protagonist, Luffy. And before I say anything else, please note that 160 chapters later in the story, Luffy is still easily my favorite character in the entire story. He's boundlessly optimistic, motivated, and extremely determined, which sounds a lot like every other shonen anime protagonist. However, there's one big thing that sets him apart from everyone else. He's very dumb. He's an idiot. And it's kind of the best way possible. For example, at the beginning of chapter 2, Luffy has finally set out for his venture to be the Pirate King. He's got a little tiny raft. Yeah, he's just going setting sail in the ocean, just see what happens. And it turns out there's a big storm and he's gonna die. It looks like he's gonna die. What does he do? He just laughs it off and says, hey, at least I gave it a shot. And that is all you need to know about this character. And from that moment on there, I said, yo, this guy is something special. And every single chapter, he continues to surprise me in ways that I didn't know possible with this character. Another very specific moment that I have to bring up was the instance when he was told to go to the North Beach, and he says, okay, I'm on it, and he starts running, and then it turns out that he's completely lost because he thought North was just where it's colder, and that's where he started running. That's all he's got, and then he's lost, and then I'm like, this character is something else. It just shows what kind of character he is. He's very, very unique, and you don't think someone like this could carry a story. However, from everything I've seen, this character, Luffy, definitely can carry One Piece, and it's pretty amazing. So of course, after meeting Luffy, we begin to recruit his other crewmates, namely Zoro, Nami, Usopp, and Sanji. And long story short, they're all great. Even Usopp, who I thought at first would get pretty annoying, his little shtick of just lying all the time, I thought was going to be pretty obnoxious pretty quickly, but it turns out he kind of works great in the story. He's a really great offset for the insane heroics that the rest of the entire crew set forth. And I will admit that surprisingly, Zoro, out of all of them, took a bit of growing on me. And I've just seen that too cool for school anime character cliche just a few too many times, and I was a little worried that Zoro being introduced in the story so early, he would blend into all that type of other crowd of characters where they're just, they don't want to be here, they're too badass or whatever. However, surprisingly, and you learn this pretty early on, homie Zoro gets hurt a lot. It felt like after every single battle, he was always recovering, and it sort of humbled the character for me personally. And he just, sure, he's a badass, but he's not invincible. And, there's a fight in the Barati arc. I'm not going to spoil in case you do still want to read the series. I say still. Of course you want to read the series. It's amazing. But there's a fight in the Barati arc where he fights a guy that's way stronger than him, and you get a sense of an idea of just how humbled this character can be. And I absolutely loved it, and it brought this character way up to be my second favorite character in the story, of course, behind Luffy. But yeah, Zoro took some time to grow on me, but once he did, I'm a huge fan of Zoro. Now, while I'm obviously a fan of all the Straw Hats individually, I will admit that the recruiting process that fills up more than half of the East Blue Saga did get a little repetitive by the time we were at Barati. And the stories seem to boil down a lot of times to Luffy and the crew arriving somewhere, they fight a villain that's terrorizing the area, and then they leave whoever the big guy that helped them do it is. And again, it was very obviously enjoyable, but I think my frustrations here came down to the villains themselves being somewhat bland. Axe Hat Morgan, Buggy the Clown, Clown, the Black Cat Pirates, and Don Krieg, we just kind of went from villain to villain, and they sort of just blended in to be the same kind of person. They all had their own little personalities, Buggy the Clown being the one that stuck out the most, and what's his name, Django or whatever, with the Black Cat Pirates was also pretty funny as well. But by the time we were just 1v1ing Luffy versus Don Krieg, for the sake of Barati, I was kind of like, yeah, we've been here before. We're going to recruit Sanji, we're going to go to the next island and start to recruit the next person. I was like, this story's getting somewhat repetitive, I'm not going to lie to you. But I couldn't help but feel that this whole sequence, you know, it's been done 1 or 2 times before. But thankfully, this formula does break by the time we arrive at Arlong Park. And I think the fact that all of our major protagonists were assembled by the time we got to Arlong Park helps set the scene a lot better than the previous encounters. Given we already know Nami and her backstory, or we don't know her backstory, but we know Nami as a character somewhat well, we learn her backstory and her troubles, and we are a lot more emotionally invested in them. And it gives the audience a whole lot of motivation to take down Arlong himself, compared to someone, you know, like Buggy. Buggy's just a guy, he's terrorizing town, we don't really care about the town. I mean, we do, but not really. But of course, Arlong, he's a villain. We don't like Arlong at all, and it's because we like Nami. And this was very emotional. Obviously, I have to mention the scene with, Luffy giving his hat to Nami. It was crafted beautifully and just a super powerful moment for connecting all of our central characters together beyond just the ragtag group we've known them as so far. They're kind of slowly becoming a family, and this is one of the moments that kind of does it. And I know it sounds a little corny, but it's true, and you can see that when they all work together in the final fight against Arlong and the gang. And while I think the East Blue Saga does continue, I know it does continue a little bit after this moment, I still contribute the Arlong Park moment and arc of the first 100 chapters to be kind of the climax of the first 100 chapters, the climax of East Blue, and I think it does it amazingly well. Like I said, because Nami and the emotional investment we have in the character, and also just the crew finally coming together to be that one true team we know they have the potential to be. And what comes after Arlong Park? Well, it kind of feels like a setup for the next, 900 plus chapters that are about to follow, but that's not a bad thing at all. It's a little bit more low-key, and I actually really like the moments where the action and the high emotions and the stakes take a back seat, and we get to see, Zoro go to a sword shop and shop for a sword for an entire chapter. Like, that was kind of amazing. It's just a testament to, like I said earlier, Oda's writing and, way he can kind of craft a story to be interesting no matter what's going on. And it just made these smaller moments so much fun to read. And I was actually looking forward to the in-between moments between big arcs when all the crew's just on the boat, they're on the merry-go, just talking and chatting it up and just saying what's going on next. Those were probably my favorite parts of the entire story. Obviously, the emotional moments hit harder, but I just loved seeing these characters interact with each other and the dialogue and just the way they play off each other. And these little moments like this is what kept me coming back to read more and more and more. It's why I was so interested in seeing Zoro go to the sword shop or see Nami, swindle people for money or whatever. I like these little things, and it's the beauty of these little small interactions that I think is what makes East Blue so good, so wonderful. Honestly, it's not the crazy intense action we see in a lot of other anime. It's these smaller moments that really build the characters in the world together and make them seem very human, and you like these characters quite a lot. So to summarize my thoughts on East Blue, let's just say that I'm 1000% a One Piece fan now, and I'm totally on board the merry-go to figure out where the heck we're going next. Now, reading the manga honestly transported me back in time to reading classic Naruto when I was growing up, and I thought the Naruto story growing up, reading it, was so badass and so cool. However, One Piece, that's not the feeling I got. I got nostalgia reading One Piece just because I felt like the story was so genuine and fun and charismatic, more so than just badass and cool. It did a really great job in this early form of the story, like introducing us to characters, taking time, building this really charismatic cast, and every chapter just felt like built upon the layout of the chapter once before. Now, again, I did already air a bit of my grievances out about the repetitive feeling I got a few times with the story, but I do want to emphasize that all these arcs were still super fun and enjoyable to read, and it's mostly thanks to my new favorite character, Monkey D. Luffy. He's amazing, and I can't recommend this series enough, not just because of him, but because of everyone. The whole cast just kind of works together so well. So please give reading it a try. I read physical too, which was nice. I know that can get a bit pricey, so just read it any way you can. Specifically, I think you can read it through Shonen Jump, like a subscription service, which is a super great deal. But yeah, I definitely recommend at least giving it a shot. And to give it a little final rating or whatever, I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10, at least the East Blue Saga, obviously, not the entirety of One Piece. I'm not there quite yet. I'm about chapter 160-ish, and I'm still enjoying it so very much. But yeah, East Blue Saga, 8 out of 10. It's a very solid start to the epic journey I'm sure is to come, and I'm just continuing to enjoy it time and time again. So please make sure to like and subscribe so you can get my thoughts and opinions on the later arcs of One Piece. I definitely plan on continuing to do little reviews or whatever whenever I finish a big milestone in One Piece, because I'm here along the way, along the ride. I'm considering myself a straw hat along with the crew, and I'm here to see Luffy become the Pirate King. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe, like I said, and see you next time. Bye-bye.